I'm so fucking tired. Okay, here we go. I'm literally recording this almost midnight. Yeah, I'm that tired. So female musicians, more specifically female rappers, aren't necessarily foreign to me when it comes to music. The earliest memory of watching women on the big screen, or rather slay on the big screen, was when I saw the Cheetah Girls for the first time with my two older sisters. The second movie in that trilogy was clearly the best one. Outside of shows and movies, I remember growing up listening to Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, Beyonce, and Ariana Grande, to name a few. Growing up around women has made me more well-rounded, so to speak. One way or another, I was usually surrounded by women. But even with all that, I still turned out to be attracted to men, and only men. Take that for what you will. As I continue my journey with music and discover new music, I have come across some more female artists such as Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, Queen Latifah, Adele, Missy Elliott, and most recently Doechii, and many more. However, I will be talking about Lauryn Hill. I have heard of her name almost instantly. I've been hearing her name pretty much the entire time I've been really doing this music reviewing thing, and that's basically because of how much praise her studio album on her only studio album has gotten over the years. I won't be diving into an album itself as a deep dive. I would actually be telling you like the success, impact, and possible influences of her album that her album had. That's why for today's first episode of the first breakthrough, we'll be understanding the impact of the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
I was popular, but not because I was cool.
Lauryn Hill grew up in a musical family, singing at a young age, performing at Harlem's Apollo Theater's amateur night at age 13, and participating in local talent shows and a gospel choir. In high school, she joined a group with Praz, who was part of a group that was initially called the Translator Crew, but would later be called the Fugees after Wyclef Jean joined. They signed a record deal while Lauryn was still in high school and early in college. Their debut record, London on Reality, in 1994, received modest success. It wasn't until 1996 with The Score that they scored a massive hit, selling over 18 million copies worldwide. It featured hits such as Fuji La and their cover of Killing Me Softly with his song, earning Grammys and establishing Hill as a standout vocalist and rapper. She contributed to Wyclef Jean's solo project, The Carnival, in 97, but stepped away due to pregnancy with her first child around that time with Orhan Marley. Lauryn Hill also had to balance her music career with acting and studies, recurring role as Kira Johnson on soap opera As the World Turns in 1991, featured as a role in Sister Act 2 Back in Habit alongside Whoopi Goldberg, other credits such as King of the Hill, and an off-Broadway play. And she briefly attended Columbia University but left to focus on her music after The Score's success. And she was able to use her earnings from acting to help fund the Fugees early on. By the mid-1990s, she was already a prominent figure in hip-hop and neo-soul before going solo. This section is probably going to be a lengthy one, so stick with me, folks. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was released on August 25th, 1998. It's her debut album and only album to date. Commercially speaking, it was a massive hit right out of the gate, debuting at #1 on the Billboard 200 with first week sales around 420k copies sold, the highest for a female artist at the time. It was the first album by a woman to debut at #1. Lead single Doo-Wop That Thing debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and a Hot Rap Songs chart, making Hill the first artist whose first entries on both charts hit #1. Other singles like X Factor and Everything Is Everything also reached the top 40. It nearly sold 10 million copies worldwide in its first year and has exceeded 20 million copies globally. In the US, it achieved diamond certification from the RIAA in 2021, making Hill the first female rapper to reach that milestone. Critics praised the album for its deeply personal lyrics, genre-blending production, mixing R&B, hip-hop, neo-soul, reggae, and live instrumentation, and Hill's songwriting, singing, and rapping as well. It was seen as a mature, introspective work addressing love, relationships, motherhood, self-worth, and industry pressures, often drawing from her experiences with the Fugees' breakup, her pregnancy, and personal growth. At the 1999 Grammys, this album and Lauryn Hill got some awards, to say the least. It received Album of the Year, first hip-hop album to win In this category, Best R&B Album, Best New Artist, Best R&B Song, and Best Female R&B Vocal Performance for both doo-wop That Thing. Hill became the first woman to win 5 Grammys in one night. This album has since been ranked among the greatest albums list, included into the Library of Congress National Recording Registry, and added to the Grammy Hall of Fame. Not to mention that it was recently placed at #1 on Apple Music's 100 Best Albums of All Time list. This album brought hip-hop and neo-soul to the mainstream's forefront, blending conscious lyricism with soulful melodies and live elements in ways that moved beyond the dominant gangsta rap or materialistic themes of that era. Hill showed vulnerability, femininity, and complexity as a black woman in a male-dominated genre. It raised the bar for artistic standards in hip-hop and R&B, influencing melodic rapping, introspective storytelling, and genre fusions. Artists across generations, from Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, and D'Angelo to later figures like Beyonce, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Frank Ocean, Cardi B, and Adele, have cited its influence on their approach to authenticity, emotional depth, as well as blending singing and rapping. It challenged perceptions of what a hip-hop album could be, proving that commercial and critical success didn't require compromising on personal or progressive themes. It addressed topics like gender dynamics, self-education, echoing Carter G. Woodson's ideas, as well as relationships and societal issues with nuance. So the main reasons why this was her first breakthrough are a couple of things. While her first major breakthrough was with the Fugees, I would argue that her big break was with her debut album for sure. The album's success propelled her to global stardom, though she has largely stepped back from new studio releases since, focusing on live performances and selective appearances. Now, to wrap this video up, I want to speak about my overall feelings on the album itself. It's flat out amazing. It scratches so many different itches, and it's the kind of record that truly has everything. I actually love the title track. It is gorgeous. She has amazing chemistry with Mary J. Blige and D'Angelo. This album is worthy of a deep dive that I will be doing in the future. It has so many genres in the mix, along with deep, personal, substantive lyrics. Mochi and I enjoyed this project through and through. That's gonna be it for now. This was fun to do. I plan on making this a series for sure, just like with the What Went Wrong series. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want more. Mochi and I will see you in the next video. Can you play the music already? Yes, Mochi. Yes. Cue the outro music. Also, again, I'm tired. Mochi, after you do this, we're going straight to bed. If you did it then, and you probably talking out your neck saying